Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to Śrī Vrindavan Dham with a view of the sunset, Madan Mohan Temple, sleeping dogs on the sands of Jamuna, a lonely calf, beautiful sunset, and Jamuna Devi herself with boats and all.
Jai Jamuna.
Jai Jamuna Maharani ki Jai.
And then down that way you see Keshi Ghat.
Off in the distance, that little temple that you see up there, kind of. Where's it? Turn the up.
There it is. There it is. There's Keshi Ghat.
There you go. See there. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Show the sunset again. Sorry. So the sun is setting about 5 o'clock now every day. It's very beautiful temperature outside, very peaceful. Today would be a good day to light lamps, but we're not doing that today. We're going to take you to another location.
We have a special place to take you today.
Yes.
We hope it goes well. It's always an adventure.
Always an adventure. Just so you know, when we first turned it on and we said Radhe Radhe, one of the kids said nearby, Shyam Milade. Srila Gurudev said, we don't say this.
No.
Because it's ordering Srimati Radhika. When you say Radhe Radhe, then you're ordering her, arrange my meeting with your Shyam.
No.
Now that is not the mood of any real Rupa Anuga or any, I don't even need this, there's no one around. Radhe Radhe Dandavat Pranam. It's not the mood of any Rupa Anuga because it's not the mood of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. They don't want to meet personally with Krishna, they only want to arrange her meeting with Krishna. So they never tell her, arrange my meeting with your Shyam. Beside the fact that she's our Swamini, which means she's our worshipful goddess, so we never order her around. We always take a very subservient mood toward her. So many people come to Vrindavan and they're instructed by their pundits to say, the pundits will be going, Radhe Radhe, and the whole crowd says, Shamilade, and it's the whole time they do that. But they don't have these deeper understandings that our Gurudev and our Rupa Anuga Guru Varga have given us. So just because the crowd does it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. We don't order the Queen of Vrindavan to do anything. We approach with a very deep mood of humility, and we just beg that may you please engage me in your service. So, hey!
Oh. No, the cow was trying to hang out with the dogs.
I thought it was a dog for a second.
She's running back to her cow friends. All right, so we're going to take you
to the secret location.
To a very, very special place. Like I said, it's always an adventure. We never know what's going to happen. So.
And if you look up there, you can see the Imlitala temple. See that the white temple there? That's the Imlitala temple. Just left of that is Gopinath Bhavan. That's the Parikrama Marg.
And here's the beautiful Jamuna sand.
Yes. Just kind of put the camera close so everyone can touch their head to Jamuna sand.
Everyone touch your head here. I hope it's clean.
Radhe Radhe.
There you go. All right. There are many, many pilgrims right now. India is supposedly in different places going in another lockdown.
But not in Vrindavan.
Not Vrindavan.
you got about,
thousands.
1/10 of 1% who might wear masks, and the most of them don't even know about it. So
it's just continuous.
But because anything goes in India, no one criticizes anybody for any of it. So anyone can wear a mask.
I just want to show them.
Look how many people are coming.
It's just continuous.
Anyone can wear clothes or not. Radhe Radhe.
Look at that.
All these people coming. We should do a 10-minute time lapse.
And it's like this day and night. Continuous. Okay, so now to our special destination.
Wow. Only in India you see the sun. It looks like an orange fruit.
Oh, you can't see it now.
Right here? Right from here you can see.
I don't know if they can see how orange it is. I'll try to...
Because it compensates. Yeah, you can't see how orange it is. It's actually many shades darker than what you see. But no wonder Hanuman thought it was a fruit and tried to catch it. He jumped up and wanted to eat it because he thought it was a fruit.
Okay, keep your stick.
Right, there's lots of monkeys in this area, so I have to be on guard. Radhe Radhe. Now we're coming down a very special gully. This gully is known as Man Gully. This is the gully. Interesting, it's the same word in English as it is in Hindi, but the gully, or the narrow pathway through the jungle at the time that Srimati Radhika took when she was leaving the Rasa Leela in jealous anger, otherwise known as Man, which is a stage of praying. So this is actually a very special place. Radhe Radhe. This is how they carry glass in India.
Is this where Anup and Sudevi
Yes,
stood?
this is the photo where we
Oh.
where Anup and Sudevi stood. Everywhere here is photo picturesque. Watch out.
Oh, geez.
Side, side.
Okay,
Oh, come here.
another.
Beautiful.
Uh-oh, we're showing you something else here. Careful, there's lots of monkeys.
It's okay. Just look in here for a second. How beautiful it is in here.
It's like all of a sudden you're not...
Every tree is a kalpa vriksha tree. I think this is a small tamal tree. It's very dark complexion. When Aristasur came running through Vrindavan, all of the gopis, seeing this massive bull demon, were running here and there searching for Krishna. And thinking that all of the trees, the black trees, were Krishna himself, they began embracing those trees, all these beautiful tamal trees.
It's really, really beautiful in here.
So the gopis are the original tree huggers, thinking it's Krishna.
Okay, so now we've seen a tamal tree. Oh, and look, we see just a random picture of Sita and Ram.
Yep.
Okay, now we're back. So Man Gully, continue.
So we've spoken about how Srimati Radhika left the rasa dance. Why did she leave? Because she saw that Krishna was not experiencing.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna was not experiencing the full amount of ecstasy that he could, because he was giving equal preference to all. So Srimati Radhika left there to create that tension which increases Krishna's experience of rasa. So through that gully, Radhika was able to increase Krishna's transcendental longing and expectation, by which, when they again did Rasa Leela proper, then so much more transcendental ecstasy was experienced. Now we're going to turn left here. And it's starting to feel very familiar, like I'm remembering where Gurudev was walking all the time. Yeah. You didn't see that. It's good. So, you might recognize this. They're singing Damodarāṣṭakam inside now. Where is this?
This is Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Mat. This is Gurudev's mat. That's Sudevi Didi doing Parikrama.
So this is Śrīla Gurudev's temple, Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Mat. Now we're going up the back stairs to his room. Kind of almost through the grill. Something. pranam everywhere.
Where do you pay pranam? In this most extraordinary room. This is our Gurudev's Bhajan Kutir here in Vrindavan at Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math.
So many beautiful pictures of Gurudev everywhere here.
But I'm going to let us offer pranam really quick because we didn't. I just started showing you. So here at Gurudev's feet.
And touch that baby girl.
There you
Look
go.
at your shoes there.
There's Gurudev's shoes.
Gurudev ki jai.
And here, Srila Gurudev. Actually, when we first came, Srila Gurudev's room was right there, or his bed was right here against.
Where Srila Bhaktivedānta Mahārāja is.
And there's Srila Trivikram Maharaj and Gurudev. It's just so beautiful. It's very, very, very Gurudev.
Up there again. Just take some time to see all these beautiful pictures of Gurudev. Just wow. I'll show you the They have the best of all the photos of Gurudev from around the world.
The Gurudev putting on tilak.
So
singing.
many beautiful pictures of Gurudev.
And then they have these gorgeous pictures here. Look at that.
Sweet.
And of course, Gurudev's most worshipable, Śrī Radhakund.
And Giriraj Govardhan.
And Giriraj Govardhan.
And you can show there's things here also in the museum.
So here they have a few of Gurudev's things here.
Is it better without the light?
Yeah.
Or with it?
These are his pots that they cooked for him with. Some of his utensils and things.
So many books.
So many devotees. Oh, these are some of Gurudev's dishes. Look at his glasses, his two different pairs of glasses. I don't know if you can see.
And the hot water bottle. Is that the one you gave him?
I don't know.
It says Hicks. Who knows?
I don't know. And then some towels and things.
Chatters. And his books,
chatters.
of course.
Yes, and then all of his books.
Here.
Actually, somewhere, I think it's at Govardhan, he has a cabinet like this, and it's full of books that also were Param Gurudev's.
We will take you there.
Yes, we'll take you to Govardhan. So, even though they're having a program downstairs, we're also doing our programs. Once Srila Gurudev said, "Why should I cut my preaching?"
So why should I cut it in half?
So we're going to continue with our program, but we wanted you to see this most beautiful place. The first time I came to Vrindavan, this is where I saw Srila Gurudev sitting. Actually, when I went to Mathura, I walked in the room and Gurudev said, "Ah, the Princess of California has arrived." And devotees actually thought I was a princess. And they were asking me, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Nobody."
And then there was somebody who came to see him, and there was some like big important person, and Gurudev was telling them something, and devotees came up to us because we heard Gurudev say G-I-A,
You
G-I-A.
should sit over this way a
And-
little.
We heard
You can
Gurudev
see
say,
Gurudev.
"Come in."
Didi, look at Savita Didi. Wait. I don't know if you can see her
There's
there.
a Didi. Tell them all Vaishnavas.
So many Vaishnavas.
Vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
She's such a dear, most near and dear daughter of Gurudev.
Gurudev used to say, Beti,
Savita.
no, he would say in the mic in front of everyone, Beti Savita should come in and speak. And then she would speak so boldly. Gurudev would be so pleased. And we learned so many of Srila Gurudev's moods from her. So we are indebted to Savita Didi, just so you know.
You know that verse? Evam vratasva priya namakirtya? She taught me that verse.
She made us learn verses and then we would have to know them the next day. She was a very good teacher for us.
And the speciality of Savita Didi? Always urgency. She said no time to sleep. Never sleep. Urgency.
We're very fortunate to have her here. Gurudev would always open his door for Savita Didi. So that means we're in the good place. We're getting Gurudev's blessings. We're here with Savita Didi.
Where is going that?
You have to do pranam to every direction.
She doesn't know where to offer pranam.
Oh, sorry, I'm disturbing.
No, you're not. Do you want to speak
You want to
anything?
speak a few words for so many devotees are coming here?
Which?
There's 44 devotees now, but
in 24 hours,
afterwards, many...
2,000 devotees will see.
I'm telling about my Gurudev.
Yes.
We are very fortunate. So my Guru Maharaj, I get Gurudev's lotus feet. Because Guru Maharaj is that specialties that especially no any sannyasi has. Every have, I am not doing any offense, any lotus feet, any sannyasis, but topmost Gurudev.
Yes.
What is Gurudev's specialties? Guru Maharaj is a Braj Ras Rasik Vaishnav.
Yes.
What is the meaning of Braj Ras Rasik Vaishnav? Himself, Krishna, want to taste this Braj Rasa, so came out Gauranga form, Gaur Mahaprabhu form, and then himself tasting, especially Radharani's Matnak Mahamudra. Especially my Guru Maharaj also following, not a total 100%. I'm hearing many Rasik Vaishnavas like this Pujapad Bhakti Janardhan, Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Gosvāmī Mahārāja. I heard Bhakti Rakshak Siddhar Maharaj, very Rasik sannyasi. But my Guru Maharaj is topmost. Why? Because he is very boldly telling Rasik Katha. Never Maharaj afraid for what I am telling. And Guru Maharaj starting any Mayavadi topic, any very dry topic, but Guru Maharaj finished the topic only Gopi mood. This is a Gurudev's especially.
Yeah.
We are very fortunate. So I get Gurudev's lotus feet. And you know, Maharaj is giving this wealth for us. Now we are understand how I am fortunate. Gurudev's lotus feet. Once a time Guru Maharaj himself telling, anybody person connected with me anyway, Hari Katha way, Hari Naam way, initiation, Hari Katha, any way connected me, that person coming my this eyes. Gurudev's eyes is Radharani's eyes like this, blue eyes Gurudev. That Gurudev's eyes is magic.
Yes.
Magic. Anybody person looking that eyes automatically shooting the heart, and then Guru Maharaj is stealing everything. not heart, stealing sense, mind, intelligence, everything Guru Maharaj is stealing and keep it his pocket. And that person, what he is doing, this jiva, only crying and crying. Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Diya, Karoi Dashe, only crying and crying. And Guru Maharaj looking, he is crying and laughing. He is Gurudev laughing. Because Gurudev, some way nature is like this, a Krishna nature. My Hindi is telling, जिन नैनों में नीर बहा करता उन नैनों में श्याम बसा करता है. That means this tears coming, that eyes, why this eyes, Piya Pitam is sitting this eyes.
Yes.
My Brajvasi's language like
Yes.
this. And Maharaj, by loving me, this is a Not I have any quality, no bhajan, no nishtha, no nothing. I'm not hypocrisy way I'm telling. I'm really explaining my situation. I am nothing. But why Guru Maharaj is loving? Because I took birth in Braj. That way Guru Maharaj is loving me.
Oh.
And I am very nicely speaking Braj language because this is my mother tongue. Why I'm not speaking? And Guru Maharaj is giving chance me for lecture. I'm giving lecture in Braj language. All time Guru Maharaj crying. All my Hari Katha. When finish any Hari Katha, I can't look in Guru Maharaj crying because I am very absorbed speaking Hari Katha. My friends, audience is telling me, "Oh, Didi, stop crying, Guru Maharaj." After finish my Hari Katha, then I am asking Guru Maharaj, my Katha is not so much separations mood. Even why are you crying? Please tell me, Guru Maharaj. Please tell me. Once a time, Guru Maharaj crying mood telling, "Beti, you are telling Hari Katha. I can't listen what you are telling, right or wrong or Siddhanta. I can't. But only hearing Braj language and I forget where I am.
Wow, so beautiful.
And all that time, really I'm testing Braj mood. And I'm missing that Braj mood and then I'm crying. So like this, now you understand how is my Gurudev. My Guru Maharaj, anyway, anybody persons coming Gurudev's line, sure get Radharani's maid servant post.
Jai.
Jai Ho.
Sure.
Didi, do you remember one time in Mathura, you told us how one of Gurudev's disciples left and Gurudev, he fainted. Can you tell this? Do you remember this katha?
Fully can't, but
If anyone goes to hell, I will...
Yeah. Well, Guru Maharaj, once a time Guru Maharaj taught me, that time I going Ras Panchadhyay's topic going. So Guru Maharaj teach me, I am reading for Gurudev. At a time Guru Maharaj looking at one voice turning out of Gurudev's room. He is not entering. Guru Maharaj looking at the room, Maharaj's nature, voice, so soft, so touching everybody's heart. Guru Maharaj is this boy's specialties. So Guru Maharaj asking, son, where are you come from? Was looking Gurudev's so sweet voice and crying. Like this, crying like full balloon, water balloon, giving needles very touchy, and then water came out.
Wow.
Similar that boy hearing Gurudev's sweet voice and then crying. So why he is crying? Guru Maharaj automatically sympathy coming, automatically attraction coming. Why are you crying, son? My mom gone, left her body. So, what happened? Maharaj, I lived in Bombay. The Bombay city is very far away. Maybe more than 22 hours by train this journey. By flight 2 hours. So I came from Bombay, but my materials family is staying in Mathura. My mom is your disciple. The Guru Maharaj, this connection means this relation coming. Sambandha means relation coming.
Yes.
Then Guru Maharaj automatically impress. And then what happened? Maharaj, she is telling, I'm going Mathura. I'm attend the Janmashtami. Guru Maharaj very nice way celebrate Janmashtami. Before Janmashtami, Maharaj is doing Nagar Sankirtan. After Janmashtami, Guru Maharaj very nicely celebrate Nandotsav. Many, very nicely Maharaj is of this occasion following. We are also following Gurudev's footprints. So she also told her family, I will go. But that time Maharaj, that boy is telling to Gurudev, that time Maharaj, no any ticket, no flight ticket, no train ticket. Many train is going but no any ticket. Even she can't stop her heart, and 2 saris keeping in suitcase and very nicely catch the train. Or she came Mathura, and she attend Gurudev's Nagar Sankirtan. She attend Gurudev's Janmashtami, and also next day is celebrate first morning celebrate Guru Maharaj Swami Maharaj's birthday. That noon time celebrate Guru Maharaj Nandosab, and then evening time she return her house, and she is feeling some pain, heart pain. So she calling her brother. Brother came. Well, what happened, Didi? Well, I'm my heart some pain feeling. My brother, my maternal uncle took my mom by car coming in Vrindavan. Admit is Ram Kishan Mission Hospital. So doctors told he has heart attack, and 72 hours is very dangerous. Then no. So now like this little bit okay. So giving saline, oxygen, treatment start. My maternal auntie still my mom, but Nomi means Nandosab is admit midnight. That's me. Next day also admit in hospital. Next day Ekadashi day, morning 4 o'clock. He take out every
Tubes and mask,
every mask, every oxygen, saline, everything take out. My maternal auntie telling, oh Didi, what are you doing? You don't know. Well, stop, please don't talk with me. Very quickly change my cloth. My auntie very quickly changed my cloth. Then putting tilak. Dwadas tilak, she put my auntie putting my mom's body and sitting like this and
Sitting
telling,
in lotus position.
yeah, and looking. What looking? She look. My maternal auntie not looking. Oh, Radha Krishna coming. Guru Maharaj coming. Guru Maharaj calling me. I'm going Vrindavan. Ha, Radha Krishna, ha, Gurudev. He's telling to my Guru Maharaj listening this talk, and Guru Maharaj listening this story. And Guru Maharaj also out of control, out of limit. Totally forget his body sense. And Guru Maharaj, my golden color Gurudev's body, even also like this reddish color came out. Standing here and telling, Maharajji has not consciousness. Means no whoosh.
No external awareness.
No. So telling anybody person, any jivas, only not human body, animal, bird, insect, any jivas coming anyway,
Close to me
and connected with me anyway. So the persons by previous sanskars going to hell, but I can't left. I am going hell. I'm take out from hell. I'm take out any form. I can't left that jivas till that not established on Sarupa.
Wow.
What is my own Sarup? I am a Radharani's maid servant Sarupa. Guru Maharaj himself told, I can't left this jivas established on Radharani's maid servant post. And Guru Maharaj told like this and then fainted.
Gurudev fainted. Wow.
So Gurudev said that if anyone comes close to him, whether it's an animal, whether it's an insect, whether it's his own disciple, by any way, if they come close to him, that even if they go to hell, he will go there to take them and establish them in their rightful Sanatana Dharma, their position. What is that? As an eternal maidservant of Srimati Radhika.
Wow.
And then he fainted.
Maharaj's sweat came out.
Sweating.
He was sweating.
Because that time some very hot. So I'm calling Madam Maharaj not taking sannyas. Before sannyas this
Naveen Krishna Prabhu.
So I'm calling Naveen Prabhu. He came. Only 40 minutes. Because look, Guru Maharaj, I'm rubbing the Guru Maharaj's lotus bottom and
His feet.
and little bit giving some glucose to Gurudev's mouth, and maybe 5-6 after minute, was looking like this.
Wow.
As like looking, he came from any lokas. He came from any other place. And looking like this, where I am. Like this. Then I am Guru Maharaj absorbed in this mood. How jivas, I'm saved to jivas, I'm helping, how I'm helping to Gurudevs. Now you understand why this story, we are lucky. So,
We remember this from 20 years ago, you told.
When you first told us,
We remember this.
Maharaj look like Guru Maharaj's character like this. And Guru Maharaj has also two quality more. One quality is this: every disciple, whole world disciple, not India, not Western, whole world, means whole universal. Whole universal person, the person's meeting my Gurudev and told, my God, before I can't meet to Gurudev. Why not before meeting to Gurudev? Why I'm losing my whole this past life without Gurudev? So very restless feeling. One, this speciality is Gurudev. Second is this, Guru Maharaj too much loving me, nothing loving else person. Front me, nobody. This is every person. Sudevi Didi, you have also this.
Yes, he loves me most.
No, he loves me most.
No, we know he loves Sudevi Didi so much.
This is a Gurudev's specialities. That why this specialities means why this loving way Guru Maharaj on mood, on spiritual wealth passing my heart. That is a loving mood. Not you can't understand this material loving mood. No, material loving mood, no. Only spiritual loving way. Guru Maharaj's eyes is telling Hari Katha. Every sense came out Gurudev's and Hari Katha. If anybody, Guru Maharaj is also very strong, very disciplined person. And if anybody person, I saw downstairs many devotees drinking water, going past urine or a stool or any, going here there. But my Guru Maharaj is so strict. Water. If anybody person, Maharaj giving any katha or any person is looking like this,
Gurudev's
Guru
eyes.
Maharaj
Yes. Yes.
Where are you looking? Where is your mind?
His
Where
eyes.
is your
Yes.
Where is your notebook? Where is your
Yes.
pen? Why are you coming my class? This is not enjoyment place.
Yes.
That is sincerely
Focus.
bhakti. Following sincerely bhakti, that person attend my class. Otherwise, not coming my classes. Guru Maharaj also very soft way. Guru Maharaj banned Western country. Very opposite, totally opposite.
She's saying Gurudev became opposite. Before he was so strong in India, when he went to Western countries, he became opposite. So soft. Because we're so weak.
Means Guru Maharaj understand my Western devotees is so soft, he can't tolerate my chastisement. And also very nice mercy in hidden side. Guru Maharaj telling very soft way, I am collecting many jivas from Western devotees and collecting and immediately transfer in Braj mood.
Wow.
That time is not any Guru Maharaj, any disciple not telling this is a Western. All Western person also Brajavasi. Because Guru Maharaj is giving this Brajavasi mood.
Yes.
And Guru Maharaj is giving this Brajavasi seva vasana seed in every jiva's heart. So this physical body is not important in my bhakti line. Internal body is important in my bhakti line.
Yes.
And Guru Maharaj important seed. This seed name is Krishna Seva Vasana seed. This seed we get from Gurudev. According seed coming this fruits. Which fruits? Radharani Seva fruits.
Didi, one more thing they're asking. Maybe before you finish that you speak something small. They're mostly Westerners, but they want to hear you speak in Brajabhas.
Brajabhasha something.
because you told how Gurudev is weeping and only hearing Brajabhas, so they want to hear you speak something.
Chota.
महाराज जी बोले तू कहाँ कर रही है लाली. सो एक दिन मैं बोली महाराज जी से, महाराज जी आज है ना कृष्ण है ना राधा रानी से मिलवे ना गए. तो राधा रानी बहुत ज़्यादा रोई रही. तो वृंदा देवी ने कछु वहाँ पे अरेंज करा हो और कृष्ण को इंग्लिश में बैंगल सेलर, हिंदी चूड़ी बेचने वाली, हाँ चूड़ी बेचने वाली बनी और सिर पे मूड पे अपने एक टोकरी माने एक डलिया रख ली, पूरी चूड़ी ते भर ली और बोले यार कोई चूड़ी ले लो, चूड़ी ले लो.
Krishna was going to Srimati Radhika. She was in a very heavy mood. And so he was going as a bangles seller and calling out that he has bangles.
Take bangles.
Take bangles.
Purchase the bangles.
So राधा रानी आवाज को सुनते ही जो अंदर विरह को आग जल रही राधा रानी के हृदय में वो नुकसान होने लगी. तो राधा रानी तो वो बात तो कही ना ललिता विशाखा से बोली, ललिता जो चूड़ी बेचे वाली आई है भाई बुला, मैं चूड़ी पहनूंगी. तो ललिता जी और विशाखा जी बोले राधा तो पे तो इतने चूड़ी है, तू कहाँ करेगी पहन के. बोले मुँह तो ज्यादा मत बात करा, बुला बाय. तो वो चूड़ी वाले को बुला में है. राधा रानी तो समझ गई जे कोई चूड़ी वाली ना है, ये तो प्यारे हैं, पर भेद कैसे खोले. सो राधा रानी ने अपने आप ही उनको एक आसन बिछाया और राधा रानी कृष्ण वहाँ पे बैठ गए और तरह तरह की चूड़ी दिखावे लगे. राधा रानी बोली मुझे लाल रंग ना चाहिए, हरो ना चाहिए, पीरो ना चाहिए, मुझे तो कारो रंग पसंद है, कारो रंग नीली चूड़ी पहना दे. सो कृष्ण ने वह नीली, हमारे मतलब इंडिया में ये ट्रेडिशनल है कि चूड़ी वाला ही पहनाता है औरतों को. तो जैसे ही कृष्ण ने पहनाना शुरू किया, जैसे ही राधा रानी का टचिंग हुआ, कृष्ण का तो शरीर कांपने लगा और
Upon touching Srimati Radhika, he was...
Well, first she sat down. First Lalita and Vishaka got her to come out to see the bangles, and she sat down on an asan. And then Krishna laid out all different color bangles for her to see.
She was feeling intense separation inside, like fire inside, burning separation from Krishna.
Yeah,
and then
missing that voice and then fire's gone down. Then that way Radharani understand she's not ordinary bangle
She
seller.
began to shake, to tremble.
She my
He.
beloved he is my beloved. But
She knew.
how she opened this mood, hiding and keeping her heart.
Rajbhasha.
We're
translating.
So राधा रानी पहनावे लगे, कृष्ण कांप के लोट गिर पड़े. सो उनके अंगिया में यहाँ तो बंसी लग रही, सो बंसी निकल आई.
Upon touching Srimati Radhika, Krishna began to tremble. He was putting the bangles on her, and then as he was trembling, his flute fell out from his.
And Lalita Vishaka clapping, ताली बजावे लगी और कहने लगी अरे सिर्फ प्रिया जी जे तो प्यारे कारे हैं, जे तो कोई चूड़ी बेचे वाली ना है. इतने बढ़िया कथा है हमारे में.
It's so beautiful. They're saying that you need to be recorded speaking this, even if they don't understand. Everybody's so happy.
Gurudev is taking, and Gurudev is sharing with the world.
And Gurudev is putting it in our hearts.
Guru Maharaj too much loving my Braj mood. This become Guru Maharaj loving me.
Oh, thank you so much, Didi. Hari Hari Bol. Radhe Radhe,
सभी
Didi.
वैष्णवों को दंडवत प्रणाम.
Dandavat Pranam. Oh, that was so nice. What a blessing.
So you told Braj Katha for Gurudev here. All Gurudevs listening to your Braj Katha.
So many
Each one
Gurudevs.
listening.
So many Gurudevs are listening to
This Gurudev
Savita
is in one
Didi.
universe, other Gurudev different universe. Every universe Gurudev listening your Braj Katha. Same time.
And Guru Maharaj's blessing.
Guru Maharaj.
Gurudev blessed us today. All Vaishnavas got to see his darling daughter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Hari Bol.
Hare.
Radhe Radhe Hari Bol.
So, very early on, Sudevi didn't know what to ask Gurudev. So she ran to
No,
Sudevi Didi.
Sudevi Didi was saying we always should have a question because Gurudev said this.
1996, right?
Yes, he told my friend Anuradha, who actually brought me to Gurudev, he said you should always have a question in your heart. That means that you are progressing, there's movement. If you have no question, you're dull. So one day he asked her, do you have any question? And she said, no, Gurudev. As when you're in front of him, everything is perfect. So she said, no, Gurudev. And he said, oh, you know everything? And so then it taught me to always have a question, but I didn't know what to ask him. I was so new, and really I was young and Gurukuli and thought I knew quite a bit. So I'm like, what am I going to ask him? But then I saw Sudevi Didi. She would always talk to Gurudev and he would be laughing and enjoying just the banter of Braj.
Braj Bhasha.
And so I was like, I want to ask him a question like that. I want to have a relationship. So I went to Sudevi Didi. I said, I want to have a question for Gurudev. And she said, very good. And I said, will you give me the question? And she started laughing and she said, okay. She said, go to Gurudev and ask him that when Mother Yashoda tied Krishna to the grinding mortar, that at that time, no one could undo it. Even Baladev Prabhu, he heard it was Yashoda Maya and he couldn't open it. So finally, Nanda Baba was able to do it, was able to release Krishna. She goes, but your question should be, after saying all this, then ask Gurudev, what about Srimati Radhika? What about the gopis? So I said, okay. So and they're very young at that time. So I ran to Gurudev.
Here, in this room?
No. It was, I think, at Govardhan. And he was sitting outside by himself. And so I ran to Gurudev and I said, Srila Gurudev, I have a question. And he just said, yes. And so I told him the whole Damodar Leela story as if he didn't know it. And he's like, yes. And then I asked, so what about the gopis? What could they untie it? And Gurudev looked at me and he said, oh, so soon? So soon you're asking such a deep question? And I was like looking at him, and then he said, oh. And then he turned his eyes and he said, just by their sidelong glance, that rope would have burned. And I was like, oh, and Gurudev was laughing, and I just started laughing and crying. I was so excited, and I ran back to Savita's room. I'm like, Didi, give me another question. And she laughed. First she said, what did Gurudev say? And I said that he laughed and what he said so soon, and then she was laughing. And then I said, give me another question. She said, no, now you have to come with your own question for Gurudev. So
this room, this place was also the place where our Srila Gurudev first met our Sri Radha Vinod Bihari.
Where they met him.
So when he first held them, he was like, wow, so good.
He held Srimati Radhika in his hand. He was looking and he said, so beautiful, so beautiful. We were afraid they were the biggest deities that he had ever maybe would install, and everyone was
for
like,
home Thakurjis.
They're like, I don't think Gurudev will install them this big. So we took them off their stands thinking we could trick Gurudev. And Kishori Prabhu brought them to Gurudev, and Gurudev was so happy. He loved them. And then when they brought them back to me, they said, okay, Pram Pratishtha is in a couple of days, but they're already installed. Gurudev held them and was looking at them and touching them. They're already there. So at that moment, we began to worship them. So, and also, we have so many stories here, but we should.
We wanted to sing Gurudev Kripa Karke here in this room. We have so many beautiful experiences with Gurudev in this room, but that particular bhajan has such a deep connection with us and all of his disciples to him. That bhajan was actually written for him, and we personally witnessed how it called Gurudev. Sudevi told us, we were in England in the house of Yashodanandan Prabhu, and that time we went to Gurudev's house to do bhajans, and we asked, can we do bhajans? And Brajanath Prabhu answered the door, and he said, oh, there's just meetings today, Gurudev, you won't be able to see Gurudev. And we said, can we just come in and do kirtan? He said, yeah, sure. So we sat on the floor in the living room, and Sudevi said to all of us, let's sing so loud, with so much intention, that Srila Gurudev will want to come down, will come down.
Have to
come down to be with us. So instead of looking at our books or just kind of sitting in a circle singing, we were looking up at the ceiling, singing at the top of our lungs, Gurudev kripa karke mujhko. And after a few minutes, to our great amazement, we looked off to the side, and what did we see? Gurudev himself, coming down the stairs by himself. No servant, no one to hold on to their arm. He was holding the railing with both hands, with his eyes looking toward us very wide, coming down one step at a time. And we were so excited. Gurudev is coming, Gurudev is coming. And he sat down with us, and he spoke for some time. Braj Mandal Prabhu came with his microphone, and Gurudev said, oh, nothing is happening here. Go back to your big meeting. And Gurudev wanted to be with us, and we had such a sweet interaction with him. And then as Gurudev got up to leave after some time, Sudevi said to Gurudev, oh, Gurudev, thank you so much for coming down. And Gurudev said, I had to. You called me.
Also, it was at that time when we were singing Das instead of Dasi, and, we weren't doing the proper, I guess you would say, the male and female, because generally we don't during Kirtan. And because this bhajan was written for Gurudev, he had the preference of telling us how he wanted it sung. And so he told us that, he told me actually, he said, I want you to sing Dasi and Akeli, not Dasa and Akelahu. So from that time, we would never on our own just change the words of anything in the songbook. It's not our right or even our adhikar, our qualification. But because he told us to, that's why I always sing, I am your dasi, not das, and akeli, it's the female.
Right.
One devotee, Vichitra Didi actually, she told me that one disciple in Mathura, who, believe it or not, is a lady, she wrote that for him. She's, I think, a police officer, if I remember correctly. And Gurudev accepted it so much so that he had it put in the songbook and sung regularly. So this is
very dear to him, and it has the power to call him.
If you can sit back a little, there you go.
So, we're not going to do a regular Mangalacharan because, well, the Mangalacharan was Sudevi Didi speaking Braj Bhasha. The purpose of Mangalacharan is to invoke. It's an auspicious invocation. And so that invoking is actually calling Gurudev.
No, Lavangalata, Gurudev didn't write this song.
He wrote the other one, Guru Charana
Kamala Bhajaman, Gurudev, but not Gurudev Kripa Karke.
So Gurudev Kripa Karke is page 360 in the book. So, Mangalacharan is to call the Guru Parampara, our Guru Varga, Sachinandan Gaurahari, Nityananda Prabhu, Radha and Krishna. But today we read that if we don't have time for the big Mangalacharan, Srila Gurudev said there's one mantra which contains everything. Gurave Gaurachandraya, Radhikaya Tadalaye, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya, Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. So that's the one.
Oh, they thought Savita Didi wrote it. No, not that. No.
So now we're going to sing Gurudev Kripa Karke Mujhko Apna Lena.
So for those of you who have just joined us, we're in Gurudev's room in Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math, and then we'll tell you a little bit of the katha that we can remember here. Well, some of it. And then, we'll see what happens. There might be a surprise when we walk out the door.
Who knows? In this book, page 360, if you don't have a songbook, then I trust Jiva Pavana Prabhu is there.
He's already posted it.
Thank you. Dandavat Pranam. So just scroll to Jiva Pavana Prabhu's post, and you will find the bhajan there along with its translation. Gurudev Kripa.
You have the kartas?
Karke.
Just really soft.
Mujhko apna lena.
Gurudev Kripa
करके मुझको अपना लेना। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना।
गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना।
मेरी शरण परा तेरी चरणों में जगा देना।
मेरी शरण परा तेरी चरणों में जगा देना।
चरणों में जगा देना।
चरणों में जगा देना।
गुरुदेव कृपा करके
Just turn.
मुझको अपना लेना।
गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना।
करुणा निधि नाम तेरा करुणा बरसाओ तुम।
करुणा निधि नाम तेरा करुणा बरसाओ तुम।
सोए हुए भाग्य को हे नाथ जगाओ तुम।
सोए हुए भाग्य को हे नाथ जगाओ तुम।
हे नाथ जगाओ तुम।
हे नाथ जगाओ तुम।
मेरी नाव भांबर डोले उसे पार लगा देना।
मेरे नाव भांवर
डोले
उसे पार लगा देना।
गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना।
गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना।
तुम सुख के सागर हो भक्ति के सहारे हो।
तुम सुख के सागर हो भक्ति के सहारे हो।
मेरे मन में समाये हो तुझे प्राणों से प्यारे हो।
मेरे मन में समाये हो
तुझे प्राणों से प्यारे हो। मुझे प्राणों से प्यारे हो।
मुझे प्राणों से प्यारे हो।
एक माला जपू तेरी मेरे दोष भुला देना।
नित्य माला जपू तेरी मेरे दोष भुला देना
गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना
गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना
मैं संतों का सेवक हूँ गुरु चरणों का दास हूँ मैं संतों का सेवक हूँ
गुरु चरणों के दास हूँ
नहीं नाथ भुलाना मुझे इस जग में अकेला
नहीं नाता बुलाना मुझे इस जग में अकेली हूँ
इस जग में अकेला हूँ
इस जग में अकेली हूँ
तेरे द्वार का भिखारी हूँ नहीं दिल से भुला देना
तेरे द्वार की भिखारी हूँ नहीं दिल से भुला देना
गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना
गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना
ओ जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव
जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव
ओ जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद
जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद
ओ गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा
गुरु परंपरा गुरु परंपरा परंपरा गुरु परंपरा
श्री गुरुदेव की
जय।
जय श्री प्रभुपाद की
जय।
जय पाद गुरु वर्ग की
जय।
जय श्री गुरु परंपरा की
जय Do you want to say something?
We should tell about the history of this place.
Okay.
And I would like you to tell about the history of this place.
Okay.
So can you sit over there next? Or you sit here.
So, Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, many years ago, I don't know if any of you have seen, but maybe if you look on many videos that were done in Badger, New Braj, California, there you will find something astonishing. Gurudev would go to the home of some particular Vaishnavas, Pran Kishori Prabhu, Champaklata Didi, and their children. And he would weep there, like really weeping and saying, I am indebted to them. I am so indebted, I don't know how I can repay them. And everybody would be shocked. So it just so happens that for a very long time, our Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, wanted to have a place in Vrindavan, but specifically at Sevakunj. This is the place where he wanted to be. And so he had this in his heart. And in the early 90s, maybe even some came to him in the 80s, Gurudev expressed this to some of his shishyas. They were taking shiksha from him. Pran Kishori Prabhu is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Then he took shiksha from Srila Bhakti Rakshak Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, and then he came to Gurudev for further shiksha. So Pran Kishori Prabhu, we actually lived in Malaysia for some time. We have a huge book of a story. So we were living in Malaysia at the time, and Kishori Mohan Prabhu was also living in Malaysia, and Pran Kishori was teaching Kishori Mohan how to go out and how to sell paintings. They would sell paintings and collect money so that they could live and that they could do service. So Kishori Mohan saw with his own eyes what he would do. Pran Kishori Prabhu would go out and he would sell. He was a really good salesperson.
He looks like Superman. I mean,
6'4" or something, and just this like, he did look very like handsome and very beautiful. And he would go out and he would make all this money. And before he would go up to his wife, Champaklata Didi, he would look at Kishori Mohan and he would count the money. And he would take half of what he earned and put it in his pocket and say, this is for Gurudev. And then they would go upstairs and into the house, and Champaklata Didi would be there, and he would give her the money that he kept aside and said, this is what I made today. And she would take it and count it and take half of that and say, this is for Gurudev.
That's 3/4 for Gurudev.
So and this is what they would do every day, whether he made a lot or a little. It was always, he would take half, put it aside, then she would take half, put it aside. And they would send money to Gurudev. And they underwent a lot of hardship to try to send money so that Gurudev could buy this land and also build this temple. And Gurudev would tell this, that I feel so indebted. So Pran Kishori and Champaklata Didi once told us that they went to Gokul with Gurudev one day, just them and Shripad Madhav Maharaj, who was Naveen Krishna Prabhu at the time, and the taxi driver. So they went to Gokul, and when they got out, they went in front of Thakurji there at the palace of Nanda Baba. And going there, Gurudev began to weep profusely in front of Thakurji. And Pran Kishori was kind of astonished, because Gurudev, he would weep sometimes, but he would control himself. And Pran Kishori Prabhu and Champaklata Didi were saying this time he was just crying and crying and praying. And then they left and they got back in the taxi and started driving back to here probably. And Mathura maybe. And then Pran Kishori Prabhu said he got the courage to ask Gurudev, Srila Gurudev, what were you praying for when you were weeping so much, so profusely in front of Thakurji? He said that Gurudev turned around and looked at them, and he said, I was praying to Krishna that you would receive Krishna Prem in this lifetime. I was praying for this. And we just heard how Savita Didi was saying, the Gurudev said, if by anyhow, even if they're not connected to me personally, but somehow they come close to me, like maybe someone's animal, or because she was saying, even if it's an animal, whatever, any jiva, that by somehow comes in any kind of sambandha connection with me, that means people who we have sambandha with, because it's somehow coming close to him. Then Gurudev can easily take them. He once said that to me. My mother-in-law is very against our Gurudev. Enough, so much so that she rejected her own son for coming to Gurudev and following his orders to preach and to serve. She said, okay, I disown you. But one time Gurudev said, you should try to be close to her. He said, anyone close to you, easily I can take.
That's why I stay close to Sudevi.
No, I was saying, not because it's me, because he was saying anyone that comes in contact, like Sudevi Didi was saying, by anyhow, by any way, even if it's an insect, any jiva, even if it's an animal, whatever it is, if by any chance it comes close to me, then I will make sure that that jiva will reach its perfection. That is our Gurudev's mood. And just see how they were doing so much seva. Maybe we only see money, but his mood was one of deep service. Champaklata Didi was doing service. Gurudev said they were living in a car. He would be weeping and weeping. Even her jewelry, her gold jewelry, she sold for me. And one time I asked her, you sold your gold? And she said, no, I never did. She said, but it could have been that if I knew there was that much money, I might have bought gold.
But he said, I can never repay them.
He said, I can never repay them. This reminds us of that beautiful Leela that Gurudev tells about the barber and pulling out the thorn of the lion. And then the lion sees him. He never forgot it. In that time, this barber was supposed to be killed because he was falsely accused of murder. And the king threw him in a pit with a hungry, ravenous lion. He said, if you're innocent, the lion won't eat you. But that lion, when he went to eat this barber who was falsely accused, he stopped in his tracks. He knew, you're the one who pulled the thorn out of my foot. You saved me. And immediately that lion went and began to lick that barber, and he was cleared of his so-called offense. So Gurudev told that in connection with Nityananda Prabhu. He said, if we do any kind of service for Nitai, any kind of service for Sri Gurudev, he will never forget that. Never and never. That thing is not lost, and Gurudev has to respond. He feels indebted. We are the ones that are indebted. But Guru actually feels, you have helped me so much. Krishna himself wants to run after the pure devotee and serve in any way they can. But Gurudev, Sri Guru is so merciful. They tell Krishna no. They tell Lakshmi Devi, you should be far from me. And they let their disciples get that mercy. Like Śrīla Sanātana Gosvāmī Mahārāja. One time, one devotee was telling us that a really rich man came with so much money. Here, build your temple. I have it here for you. Śrīla Sanātana Maharaj said, why should I let you get all the mercy? Why should you get the merit for fulfilling the order of my Gurudev? He said, I want my disciples to incur the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada. So he wouldn't accept that big donation for the temples. No, I want my disciples to get that mercy. Lakshmi Devi may come in so many different ways. Krishna may come. Amito Kangal, I want to serve you. Why? Because you can give me the mercy of Radhika. Just how we heard how Krishna was saying, oh Bhai, if you want Srimati Radhika's mercy, if you want her to be pleased with you, then you should help me. So Gurudev is like that with all of us. All of us. Whatever little thing we do, Gurudev is seeing that and he's thinking, I can use these jewels in the service of Krishna, but he himself feels indebted. So there he was weeping profusely on behalf of those who were trying to serve him. And what did he do here? He didn't just come and live in luxury. This is a tiny room.
It's a very small room.
He had a bed and a couple of bookshelves, and this is where we would have his darshan. It wasn't like it was a palace or anything. There was no other room where he would go to relax. This was it. And the next door neighbors are so close, and there was a generator, and there was all kinds of bad smelling air coming in here, so much noise continuously. He wasn't living it up. What was he doing? He was preparing. Once this place was built, what did he do? He went out and he started bringing so many to Braj Mandal and giving us the impressions that Sudevi Didi was saying, Krishna Seva Vasanam, that seed of desire to serve Krishna by showing us this is your eternal place. Seva Kunja is the place where even Krishna is begging to serve. I'm making this your home. Come and stay here. Here, Harikatha here. Let me nourish the Shraddha, that beautiful mood of love for Krishna that is now just beginning to sprout. Let me nourish that with Harikatha here. And Gurudev would give and give and give just downstairs. And even in here, once it was 1996, and it was, Gurudev asked Kishori Mohan Prabhu and I, have you had your Vedic wedding done? We had already been married.
Was that in this room when he said that?
Yes.
Really?
He said, have you had your Vedic wedding?
That's when we first arrived.
Have you had your Vedic wedding ceremony? And we said, no. And he said, would you like me to do it for you? I'll do your wedding. And we were like, oh, yeah. He said, it will be very sweet, like a Gandharva marriage. You will exchange gardens and you will give your love to her and she will give her love to you. And we were thinking, oh, it's going to be so romantic. But it turned out to be chaotic. I'll tell you in a minute. But one day, Gurudev was having a darshan here and there were so many devotees. And I came in because, like Sudevi Didi said, I really did think I was his favorite. I didn't know that he just gives so much indiscriminately. That's his mercy. But I just walked in. I'm like, I'm here, Gurudev. And he just looked at me and said, oh, you're going to be married very soon to my son. And I was looking at Gurudev like, your son? And then he said, where is your dowry? And I looked at Gurudev and I said, Gurudev, you are my father. And then I have to give your dowry. I said, yes, Gurudev, you have to pay it. And he just put his hands on his head. He said, oh, no. And all the devotees started laughing. And there was a lot of chaos that went around it. There were 4 of us couples that got married. And it was the first time in Bhaktivedānta Samiti that a sannyasi was going to do a wedding ceremony. So it was very chaotic. I'm not going to tell you the story out there. I want to tell you quickly here.
Can I tell mine first?
Oh, yes, you should tell yours.
So there's a prelude to the story that Sudevi is going to tell. It was so hectic and chaotic, the sannyasis in Bhaktivedānta Samiti found out that Gurudev was going to oversee a wedding. So no sannyasi in Bhaktivedānta Samiti had ever done so before, and according to the rules of sannyas, it is an absolute no-no. You don't do that. Śrīla Prabhupada, our Śrīla Prabhupada himself, tells in his own classes that he had to break some of these rules, and it was very taboo to do, but in order to preach the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although no sannyasi had done it, he had to do it and perform wedding ceremonies and everything like that. So our Gurudev was like, yes, I understand, it may be necessary to do this. So he had already offered us to do our wedding, and we were so excited about it, and then it was coming up toward the end of Kartik. And then through the medium of so many different persons in high positions, we were being told, actually, it's not going to happen. And then the next day, it's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. Actually, it's going to happen, but don't wear anything fancy. Just your simple, normal clothes. It's not going to be a fancy thing. Oh, you should wear something a little fancy, but not too fancy. It doesn't need to be a red sari. So it was quite confusing. And I was thinking, my God, my wife is never going to forgive me for this. I came from the place where weddings were starting to look a little Bollywood-like, you know, big and fancy and this whole thing. You know, when we were young, Prabhupada just did very simple weddings, but over time it started to turn into this whole festival. So I was really worried my wife would never forgive me. So I decided to come and speak with Śrīla Gurudev, and I just thought, at that time I was very familiar. I didn't understand guru-disciple etiquette properly. So I thought, you know, I could voice my opinion to Gurudev. So I came in here and I was kneeling down at his bed. Oh, Śrīla Gurudev? And he said, yes. And I said, you know, I want to make sure that our wedding is going to be a very nice ceremony. And he's just watching me. I said, because marriage is a very important institution. I had no idea about Gurudev. The one thing is that the entire Kartik, he had been speaking about one-pointed bhakti, ekantik bhakti, but I told him like that. I was very bold. And Gurudev just looked at me and he said, no, not important. And he said, it will divide your bhakti in two. And I was like, and then I kind of shrunk down a little bit. And then he said, then children, home, everything, family, all kinds of
Grandchildren.
relationships. And he said, he came to the last finger and he said, in the end, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And I was completely shocked. By the end, I felt like a pea on the floor or a peanut, something just like so small, just under him like that. And when he was telling me, it was like he was on the Mahabharata battlefield. You know the video series where you shoot one arrow and that arrow turns into two and then each one divides. And I just saw 1,000 arrows of different attachments coming at me. And I was like, completely shocked what he did to me at that time. He said, it's not important. Then he said, what is important? He said, Harinam is important. Diksha mantras are important. Your relationship with Guru, Gauranga, Radha and Krishna, that is important. Everything else, he said, is not important. And so from there, he inspired within us a very strong mood of dedication. That we were already married for 2 years before that, but we would not bind ourselves any further after that. So I just wanted to share that because I approached him with this mood, but I didn't understand his mood. And he kept always saying to all of us, just give me this one life. Any other life, you can do what you want. Just give me one, just one. And so he was trying to inspire that in all of us. So now I want Sudevi to continue with the story.
Okay, so this is very quick. Anyway, it came time for our wedding ceremony, and it was a very low-key affair. Instead of a big fire yagya, we had a little ghee lamp. And
The smallest little ghee lamp.
And they kept putting ghee in it to keep it going. And Shubhananda Prabhu, who later became Tirtha Maharaj, was doing the mantras. And Gurudev was sitting in a chair, and he would explain now and then, every now and then, what he was saying. And then, after some time, it was right out there. We're going to show you exactly where we were married, because it's a very important place. Not because we were married, but it's an important place you need to see. So we were out there, just outside this room, and then we circumambulated Thakurji. And then Gurudev said, actually, I have fooled you, I have tricked you, I have married you to Radha and Krishna. And then he said, even in your dreams, you shouldn't divorce. He said, but if you want to get divorced, first you must come to all those who have witnessed this marriage ceremony. And he said, and then, if you get their permission, then you go to all the senior Vaishnavas, sannyasis, all the seniors get their permission. Then you come here in front of Thakurji and get their permission. Then you come here to my room. At last you come to me. And the answer is no. So he was letting us know, he used to say, if you could leave your wife or your husband so easily, then easily you can leave Krishna. If you have no steadiness, you're making these vows. This isn't a joke. Srila Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he made it very, very clear that we don't break these types of vows. It's a very serious undertaking. Not just because we're in the holy dham, but we're chanting mantras, we're making these vows, calling upon our Gurudev, our Guru Varg, and we're making a promise we will help each other for life in bhakti. And so he...
Sita and Ram.
Yes, he said, like Sita and Ram, even if one should die, there should be, that's it, there should be no other remarriage. And then one time, he said, even in your dreams. And I was like, really? Even in my dreams? Come on. But he was so strong about that. He wanted us to have some morals, some nishta, some determination. I've made a vow, I'm sticking with it. Like truth is the last leg of dharma. Dharma, in the form of a bull, has one leg left. In each yuga, one leg has been broken, and now in Kali Yuga there's one thing slightly that is left, and that is truth. And if we lie, if we make all kinds of falsities up, or we
break promises.
Yes, if we break our promises and our vows, then we are actually breaking Dharma's last leg. We are breaking that bull's leg, Father Dharma. So we have to have this kind of dedication through thick and thin. I won't give up. Nowadays it's like, oh, well, I'm not happy anymore and I really miss that love feeling, so I'm going to do that. And so I'm going to leave this one and go for that one. I mean, of course, there are different problems in Haribol. We're not talking about all of that. Even Gurudev wanted his daughters to be educated because he didn't believe that they would be cared for properly through their lives. So he wanted them to be able to be strong on their own. So there are many different conceptions and ideas, but I'm just telling the highest one of a religious code of Dharma, and that is that we make a vow, we stick with it. But of course there are exceptions to every rule, but in general we try to follow the rule. We try to follow the promises that we make, and we try not to make lies or deceitfulness to others or hypocrisy. Those things aren't usable in Krishna's service. Materialize at least.
And if we can't maintain material morals, then how can we maintain spiritual morals?
So now we're going to show you what's outside this door.
It's a very, very special place. It is Srila Gurudev's heart. So now we're going to offer pranam in here. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. If you keep it steady, straight up and down here, then it won't do that. It's when the weight is thrown off.
Okay. Guys, I'm just getting used to learning how to use this, so forgive me.
It might take a few months.
They said cameras turned around?
No. What do you mean turned around?
Oh, because you were speaking. Madhu, you came late. Okay, so this is Gurudev's Bhajan Kutir and beautiful room here in Vrindavan, Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Mat. Now we're going to take you to a very secret location. Ki Jai.
Watch your step.
So this is where we were married, right here in this spot. But guess what? It's right here. Seva Kunj. This is the original Seva Kunja.
Beautiful. Hare Krishna.
They do worship here every day. They make offerings and they do arti every day. This is a place of worship and seva.
Hold it there, just there for a little bit. With Guru Saki also.
It's a place
And more.
of worship and seva. And it's really, really sweet. If you see here, they offer all kinds of nice things for ladies. There's kajal, there's bangles, there's henna and bindis, all kinds of beautiful things that they offer to Thakurji. They have little seats, and then here,
All paraphernalia for Radha and Krishna's pleasure. And these are different manjaris.
as we know, Gurudev asked Shamarani, can you paint my heart?
They can't hear you.
Guru, can you hear me? Kishori said you can't hear me. Can you tell me if you can hear me? Because I'm talking low. They're giving a lecture downstairs.
So can you paint my heart, Gurudev asked Shamarani Didi?
So he asked, can you paint my heart?
Yes, they're the original paintings.
Yes, these are the originals. And so this is the heart of Gurudev, right here.
He dictated every stroke. He directed every stroke, how she should paint and what she should do.
This is them. Look at this beautiful. There's deers. There's bunnies.
The gopis on either side of Radha and Krishna are Rupa and Rati Manjaris. And then the other ones, one is Guru Sakhi.
So here, the lights are a little bright, so it's hard to see them. No, it's hard to see them. Sorry about that, the lights are a little bright. Alright, I'm just
One
gonna...
can be seen, and the other is Param Guru Sakhi.
If you see all the way up,
All Kunja.
it's a beautiful, beautiful kunja. It just keeps going. So this is a peek into the heart of our Śrī Gurudev. Here we can see that Krishna, he's gotten in some trouble here. Gurudev gave the explanation that Krishna had gone to see Srimati Radhika and he wanted to tell her how beautiful she is. And so he wanted to call her more beautiful than thousands of moons. So he said Chandra and stopped. And Srimati Radhika thought he was going to call me Chandravali. And so she became very upset and got in the mood of jealous anger. And as you can see, Krishna is here and he's trying to pacify her. And he's trying to win her over with so many sweet, sweet moods. And she's slightly smiling but weeping and turning away from him. Very, very beautiful mood that Gurudev wanted painted.
And then he offered his flute, his peacock feather, everything at her lotus feet. And if you can read the Sanskrit at the bottom, just beneath, there it says, Smara Garla Kandanam, Mama Shirashi Mandanam, Dehi Padapalavam Udaram. What does that mean?
It means that Krishna is saying, oh, Srimati Radhika, please have mercy on me. Please give me the shade of your lotus feet. Take your anger away and put your feet on my head. Krishna is begging this from Srimati Radhika. And here is the place where our acharyas are guarding. They're guarding the kunja from any kind of unwanted persons to come in, and also sometimes from letting Krishna come in. This is Seva Kunja. This is the place where Seva is done. So we're so fortunate to come here. Like I said, this is also the place where Gurudev married us. And this is where, instead of a fire, we circumambulated Seva Kunja here, which means he married us here to this divine heart of Gurudev's. I guess that's what we would call real marriage, isn't it? To be married to your eternal beloved. The names of the gopis, okay? Over here, the first one, right here. This one is Rupa Manjari. I thought that one was.
Well, Gurudev had the paintings switched. So
yeah, Gurudev did have the painting switched. And this one,
Rati Manjari.
Rati Manjari. And right here is Vinod Manjari or Param Guru Sakhi. And this one Gurudev said is any other.
We know this one as
Raman Manjari.
Guru Sakhi.
Is Guru Sakhi. And then also in the painting, if you look very, very carefully, there are gopis, little manjaris. You can see.
Peeking. Look right behind Krishna's turban. Just to the left, you see a little gopi peeking through the bushes there.
I also thought the pink was Rupa Manjari, but Kishori said it's different. So.
Well, I've become confused since they switched
They did
them.
switch them. Gurudev had them switched, so probably you're right. It may be.
Anyone's welcome to correct us.
Yes, please correct us. I thought this was Rupa, honestly, and that this was Rati, but I followed what Kishori said. So if we do find out differently, we can ask Shamarani Didi. I'm sure that would be the best way to find out. All right, so now we're going to leave here and go back to Radha Vinod Bihari.
One thing I wanted to tell you, right after Gurudev married us, it was a little bit frightening because normally you keep your clothes tied for the rest of your life, but one devotee came up to us and started untying our clothes. You know when they say you tie the knot? She was untying our dhoti and sari, and we're like, what are you doing? She said, Gurudev told me, untie them immediately. We're like, what about the other 3 couples? She said, he just said for you 2. So we were like, okay. So this place is the manifestation of Sri Gurudev's heart. He was directing every stroke of her paintings and giving Harikatha. You can read her memoirs. I wonder if that one's come out yet. But he was directing every stroke of her paintings and telling her so many deep moods of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and what everything meant. So she is kept very
meticulous account.
Meticulous.
She gives many classes on it, so she'll be able to tell. And look, here's Mani Radha. And they're listening to class downstairs. This is the moment.
From the balcony. Okay.
Should we go? We'll do one circumambulation.
Okay, it's gonna get dark.
It's very dark, but it's kind of secret back here. There's a staircase there.
Secret staircase.
Secret staircase.
Here.
Okay. So now we will go back. Look at how beautiful.
One thing Srila Gurudev said, although Krishna will beg Srimati Radhika for her foot dust on his head, and he will weep for it and beg for it, he said Vrishabhanu Nandini, Srimati Radhika will never herself put her foot dust or her feet on his head, but he may take the dust from her feet. So this is one very particular refinement that Gurudev gave once. There was a drama in New Braj in Badger, California. And they actually, when Krishna said, Smaragara Kandanam Mama Shirashi Mandaram Dehi Parapalavamudaram, after that he was begging, please give the dust of your lotus feet on my head. In the drama, she placed her feet on his head. And Gurudev said, Krishna, Srimati Radhika would never do this. Krishna will ask for it, he will beg for it, but she will never do this. And that's the kind of refinements that he would give. Just a small thing like that, but it makes such a big difference. Gurudev, because he was witnessing all of these pastimes, he was expert in all of these rasas. And so he was able to reveal these things to us so that we wouldn't commit the mistake of rasabhas, which is the incompatible overlapping of rasas. So now
we're going to go back. This is Gurudev's room.
Yeah, from here.
It's Gurudev's room. Okay, now we're going back. So
there's a class going on downstairs.
Yes, we're trying to be quiet because there's a class. Is that Vichitra?
That's Kishori Mohan down there. That's Kishori Mohan. Kishori Mohan Prabhu, this is Kishori Mohan Prabhu. He's my brother. We're like one soul and 2 bodies, same name. Look at him, he's so beautiful. Look at his eyes, he's so beautiful.
Duplicate.
एक आत्मा एक आत्मा दो शरीर राधे
Radhe
राधे
Radhe.
Can you see talking from here? We're going to try to zoom in. You have to go to the center. It's kind of bright, no? Be careful for monkey.
It's a little dark. It's getting darker earlier.
My phone light, so we
Yeah.
can see.
It is getting darker out earlier, so yeah. Anyway, do you have your light?
It's coming up.
It is pitch black for us too.
There we go.
Okay.
Ali mohela ge vrindavan ko.
Ali mohe lage vrindavan ko.
Lage vrindavan ko. Sakire mohela ge vrindavan ko.
Lage vrindavan ko. Sakire mohe lage vrindavan ko.
Ali mohela ge vrindavan ko.
Ali mohe lage vrindavan ko.
Ghar ghar tulsi takur seva.
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 Takur seva.
Takur seva.
Darshan Govinda ji ko.
Darshan Govinda ji ko.
मेरे प्राण सुकराय
Ali mohe lage vrindavan ko.
Ali mohela ge vrindavan ko.
Ali mohe lage vrindavan ko.
What's the next one?
Ghar ghar who knows the next one?
I'm thinking Bhojana Duda Dahiko. Because I remember Kunjana Kunjana Firata Radhika.
Kunjana kunjana
ah.
firata. Oh, look it.
Kunjana Kunjana Firata Radhika.
Oh, look at Jamuna.
Let's go out for a second.
We're gonna go to Jamuna.
Just to the edge up here.
It's a little field trip today.
Shabda Sunata Murali ko.
Oh, Kishori, look down there. No, we're going down.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Shabda Sunata
We need to go down.
Murali
Look at
ko.
this.
Wow! Oh my
Can
God!
you see?
We'll walk down a little bit so you can see better. Thousands and thousands. Radhe Radhe.
Wow, it's so gloriously
this
beautiful.
Ratana Singhasana Apa Viraje.
Ratana Singhasana Apa Viraje.
Ratana Singhasana Apa Viraje.
Ratana Singhasana Apa Viraje.
Apa Viraje.
Apa Viraje.
Mukta Dharo Tulasi ko.
Mukta Dharo Tulasi ko.
Ali mohe lage Vrindavan ko.
Ali mohe lage Vrindavan.
Thousands of lamps, thousands, hundreds of thousands,
That's all on the Jamuna right there.
thousands. Look at out there. All of those are lamps on the Jamuna, like city lights. So beautiful. मीरा के प्रभु गिरधर नागर
मीरा के प्रभु गिरधर नागर
गिरधर नागर गिरधर नागर
गिरधर नागर गिरधर नागर
भजन बिना नर पीको
भजन बिना नर पीको
आली मोहे लागे वृंदावन नीको
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 लागे वृंदावन नीको सखीरी मोहे लागे वृंदावन नीको
लागे वृंदावन नीको सखीरी मोहे लागे वृंदावन नीको
हरे कृष्ण
हरिवो हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे
बोलो हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण
Can we get out there?
हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Ram Hare Hare
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे
Krishna Hare Hare
ओ राम हरे हरे
Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
हरे राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
हरे राम
So many pilgrims still doing parikrama. Hare Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
हरे राम
Imli Sala
राम हरे हरे
Arti at Imli Sala
If you hit it twice, it's going to come on to you.
Oh, well why did you say
I
that?
tell you to hit it twice.
Okay. And Gopinath Bhavan. We have made it back. Kind of.
Not yet. It's not over till it's over.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we are at Sri Rupa Manjari Kunj.
And there's a class.
And there's a class going on. So remember, shh. Uma Didi is giving a lecture right now, or a little darshan to a couple of
It's not able to capture with the lighting.
we don't want to disturb, so we'll go. Are the lights on? Oh, Gurudev's lights aren't on. Usually they are. It's so beautiful. Well, if anyone is ever in doubt, I think everyone will know, well, who's watching at least, where we live. You'll always know. Oh, they live back here. Okay. So we thought that we should take you to that most holy place today, our Gurudev's heart, Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Mat, and also beautiful Seva Kunj. I just think that that's one of the most beautiful things that Gurudev asked, can you paint my heart? And then that's what manifested. We get to have a view into Srila Gurudev's heart, and how sweet was it that we got to see Sudevi Didi. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful evening. And it's not over yet. There's always time.
And Radhe Radhe.
Jai Ho. Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju.
Ki
Ki Jai. And there's Sri Gauranga and Krishna. I have to take the light off them because they're just glowing too much. And today she's not a cowherd boy. So, and then
Keep it going.
the boys, then Giriraj, Shalagramjis, and also, oops, sorry, sorry, not last, but Śrī Dāmodara and Radharamanji. Okay, now I'm going to try to do this for the first time. Let's see if I get it right. Oh, I don't know. I'll probably get in trouble. Let's see. He'll come and fix it anyway. So thank you so much for coming with us to Gurudev's heart and his bhajan kutir, and for allowing us to speak, and also how nice it was that we got to hear from Sudevi Didi. How is it? How'd I do?
It's leaning forward a little
Yeah,
bit.
see, I told you he'd come and fix it.
Have to, because...
I told
Oh,
him.
yeah.
They already knew.
Sorry. That was in a very dangerous condition. So forgive me for this.
I tried.
She tried. But, you know, husbands and wives, they can't learn from each other. They need to learn from others. Okay. Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai.
Can I have the karta?
Mm-hmm. Can you see everybody okay? That's the important part. There we go.
Okay. In the next couple of days, we're going to be going to Govardhan. And we'll do that in a couple of stretches. So one day, we'll go to Radha Kund and to so many places.
That will be the last day. And we will start with Hari Day and then Dangati. Of course, Manasi Ganga,
Gurudev's
Dangati.
temple.
Yes, sorry, starting with Srila Gurudev's temple and Gurudev's room there. And then going to Hari Day, Dangati. And then going down toward Govindakund, which is where I was yesterday.
I think we should just start with Sri Krishna Chaitanya.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Namami
Nandanandana.
Ashtakam prayers. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for taking us to Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Mat. I don't think we would have gone tonight if it weren't for you. Today we were thinking, where can we bring them? Where do you think they would like to go? And then we realized we haven't brought them to Gurudev. What have we done? Wasn't that so sweet with Sudevi Didi? And then she started speaking to us in Brajapas, and then we got to hear what Gurudev loved to hear. She immediately started telling Leelas of Radha and Krishna. she didn't just, speak anything. She only told Krishna Katha in that language because that's what would make Gurudev weep.
There's nothing that makes her happier than asking her to speak something about Gurudev. If anyone is crazy for Gurudev, it's her. So we will sing Panchata Mahamantra with Gauranga Bolite Habe, page 86. And then we will sing
Namami
Nandanandāṣṭakam, Radha-tipikataksha-stavaraja, Damodarāṣṭakam, Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Śrīvāsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara I'm holding the top.
Okay. We don't want to cut off Mahaprabhu.
No.
So now we will sing Śrī Nandanandāṣṭakam, Namami Nandanandanam, starting with Sucharu Bhaktra Mandalam, page 289. 289. And if you don't have the songbook, then we do have Jiva Pavana Prabhu, who very kindly, mercifully posts the bhajans in the comment section. So just look for Jiva Pavana Prabhu's post, and then you will find that. Sucharu Bhaktra Mandalam Sukarnayatra Kundalam Sucharjitam Vachandanam Namami Nandanandanam Sudirghanetra Pankajam Shiti Shikham Damurdhajam Ananda Page 285, Munindra Vrinda Vandite, 285. Is it too high? Munindra Vrinda Vandite, Triloka Shoka Harini, Prasanna Matra Pankaje, Nikunja Bhuvilasi, Rajendra Bhai Page 290, 290, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. There's two, there's a little one next to the big one. Namami Sachidananda Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The other one?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Braj Mandal Parikrama Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedānta ki jai, Nitaya Gaura Premanande Hari Hari.
So maybe we can make an announcement that not tomorrow but the day after. We're starting early.
Sure.
At Govardhan.
Also, there are holy days. Srila Kishori Mohan Mahārāja's day is coming up.
But we can speak about him at Govardhan.
Yes, especially at Radha.
Well,
Anywhere. We can always glorify the Vaishnavas. So, not tomorrow, but the day after, we will be going on Govardhan Parikrama.
we're going to be going to very special places like Surabhi Kund. And it's a place of freeing one of aparad. It's a very important place.
Do you think we'll make it there on the first day?
Yeah.
We'll be starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, our time, Vrindavan time. So in case you've recently had to deal with daylight savings time or anything like that, just type it in your Google, just say 3 p.m. Vrindavan time, and then it will give you what your equivalent local time is.
But I will be reading everyone's names there.
Okay, so we will be starting at 3 o'clock, but so many names are there, it might end at 7.
No, it's important. Gurudev was we'll talk about it there, but it's a very special place, and it's a place of freeing one of aparad, so we want to make sure that we offer everybody and dunk everyone in that beautiful place.
We have a lot of locations to go to with so many beautiful pastimes. So hopefully we'll be able to do enough. But if it takes 2 or 3 days,
2 months, we've got months.
or 2 months, yes, maybe we'll just do Dandavat Parikrama with all of you.
No, we won't.
108 stones in each place.
9:30 UK time. That's good to know.
Okay.
I told Jayanti the wrong time.
Yeah, you told her 10:30. And she came on half an hour late and goes, oh my God, I missed something. So, we have a few minutes. We will study Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. This is the heart's treasure of Śrī Satyavrata Muni, what he is witnessing in his divine revelation. And it has been placed in Padma Purana by Śrī Vyas. And then our Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī has commented on it. Beautiful Sanskrit commentary. Then our Param Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Mahārāja, he has given his commentary on that commentary. And then our Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvami Mahārāja has given his commentary on their commentaries. So we've heard that the fruit which is tasted by the parrot becomes even sweeter. Well, this has been tasted by the parrot and then tasted by the parrot and tasted by the parrot. So it is sweet, sweeter, and sweetest. So before entering into this beautiful transcendental treasure of sweetness, we will pray in all of their lotus foot dust in the words of Śrī Raghunath Goswami. Vairāga juga bhakti rasam prayatnai apayanan mam anubhikshamandam kripam vidiryapara dukuduki sanātanastham prabhum ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest itself within our hearts. Jayanti said, don't worry, Sudevi, I'm often late anyway.
Okay, well, Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.
Oh no, she'll be saying that again at the end of this program. Okay, so we're going to continue with our Srila Gurudev's commentary on verse 1. Namami Sharam Sachidanandarupam La Satkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodabhiyoluka Ladhavamanam Paramrishtamatyan Tato Drutya Gopya Namami Shvaram Sachidanandarupam La Satkundalam Gokule Brajamanam. So I didn't do all of the Mangalacharan first because we already prayed in Srila Gurudev's room, so we began all of this process. So just know we said Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Kadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Srila Gurudev said, if you don't have time or the capacity or facility for all of the Mangalacharan, if you just say that, everyone is present. That doesn't mean that we should always cut it short. Really, devotees like to taste. So even if you look in the commentaries of our Guru Varga, 5 different commentaries of 5 different acharyas in the Harinam book, the book glorifying Śrī Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it's Harinam Mahamantra. Each one is telling about these names of Krishna and what the pairs mean. Hare Krishna, then Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. How the moods of meeting and separation are manifesting, and what is manifesting also in their own hearts. And sometimes they would just chant Ha. Like Rupa Goswami, Gurudev said, no one knows how many rounds he chanted because one Ha, and he would be absorbed in Leela, serving Radha and Krishna in the Nikunjas of Vrindavan. So how deep was his chanting? So even with one, Bolo Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, like that, then they would relish that and sing about that couple. And then they would go on to the next part. So I was just copying what Srila Prabhupada was doing in his, you can hear it in the Vintage series. People say, oh, we've never heard him split the mantra. Oh, yes, he did. And he would chant it in certain ways and split it and then glorify. And then he would go on as well. So in some places he would split it in quarters or in twos, or he would chant the whole mantra. So depending on what the Vaishnava is tasting, it might extend further and further. Sometimes they'll be chanting and in one Maha Mantra, they'll be remembering so many pastimes. Why would you want to rush that? So it's not necessary to rush if one is actually experiencing ras. So now we're continuing with the definition of pure bhakti. The first person to write the first word of the best definition of pure bhakti, as given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, gets 500 points and a samosa. The first devotee to write in the first word of the best definition of pure bhakti, as defined by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11. No comments from the peanut gallery. Okay, so I'm waiting. Yeah, no, but pretty close. It kind of means the same thing. There you go. Charu Dasi, congratulations. Anya Bhilashita. So the best definition for bhakti, Srila Gurudev, Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja wanted all of his disciples to know this verse, to not just know the verse, but he would always tell everyone when they would quote any verse, what does it mean to you? From your own heart, what does it mean to you? He didn't want us to just recite it like a parrot, but to actually have a deeper understanding of it. And to develop a deeper understanding of something, then one really needs to have interest in that subject. So somehow he wanted us to develop interest in the subject and then go deeply into it. So all together, we can chant this verse. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. And there Jiva Pavana Prabhu posted it, so everyone can read it together. Anyabhila shita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktirutama. That's the best and most complete definition of bhakti given by Sri Rupa Goswami Pad. So Srila Gurudev is explaining it. In this verse, the characteristics which describe bhakti are divided into 2 categories. The internal meaning and the external. So there's Svarup Lakshana and Tatashta Lakshana. There's intrinsic qualities and then marginal qualities of bhakti. To communicate how our bhakti can be perfected, the modifier anukulyena means with a favorable disposition has been used, because one cannot perform bhakti with an unfavorable disposition. That's one of the main reasons why this definition of bhakti is considered the best, because of this word anukul, which means with a favorable mood. So many please Krishna in so many ways. Krishna is also pleased fighting with demons. He has a ras within him which is called vir ras. He likes to fight from time to time. That's why, for example, Jai and Vijay became Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And then Ravana and Kumbhakarna. Then Shishupala and Dantavakra. Why? Simply because Śrīmad Nārāyaṇa, with his mild smile, twirling a lotus flower, decided he wanted to fight. So whenever he has any desire, immediately by the influence of his internal potency, Yogamaya, everything is manifested. So these 2 gatekeepers, Jaya and Vijay, immediately also wanted to satisfy the Lord's desire. And so they actually took on the disposition of the most horrendous demons the world has ever known, creating holy terror. What did the demigods say? Like a fever of meningitis in the head of the universe. Can you imagine? The demons that we're seeing now are nothing compared to that. A fever of meningitis in the head of the universe. So the Lord also has this ras. But their mood toward him when they're fighting, is it favorable or not? Is it for his pleasure, really? No. They want to kill him. They want to try to destroy him. It is not favorable. So therefore, it cannot be considered bhakti, because there's no devotion behind it. Okay, when originally you can say by their devotional mood they accepted this, but we should understand from the perspective, you can say the tatashta lakshana, or the marginal perspective, that these personalities are approaching Krishna with intent to kill him. Like the wrestlers in the wrestling arena of King Kamsa. Does anyone know their names? These 2 wrestlers? Massive, massive wrestlers, some of the best in the world. King Kamsa wanted them to kill Krishna and Balaram. So even though Krishna and Balaram were experiencing so much happiness in their vir ras, their fighting ras, they were experiencing so much pleasure, could this be considered bhakti or not? I'm looking for an answer. Is it considered bhakti or not? No, because their mood was not favorable for Krishna. It was not for Krishna's benefit. They wanted to kill him. However, on the other side of the spectrum, and these are the exceptions, on the other side of the spectrum we see Mother Yashoda was breastfeeding Krishna. His eyes were closed, and he was completely absorbed in tasting the Vatsalya Prem of his mother. And she was completely absorbed in loving her son with Vatsalya Prem, parental love and affection, which manifests in the form of her milk. So as Krishna is drinking and Yashoda is serving, at that moment, what happened? The milk in the other room, in the kitchen, began to boil over, feeling her capacity to serve Krishna is unlimited, and Krishna's capacity to drink is also unlimited. So if her capacity is unlimited and Krishna's capacity is unlimited, then I will never be able to serve Krishna. Without the opportunity to serve Krishna, my existence is absolutely useless. I might as well just die. So the milk begins to boil over from the pot into the fire. At that time, Mother Yashoda takes Krishna. Now, mind you, Krishna is so powerful. Putana was more powerful than 10,000 elephants. You know, we speak about horsepower. In the Vedas, it talks about elephant power. 10,000 elephants. And yet, although she was pushing with all of her might, she could not remove Krishna. And he sucked out her milk and her life as well from that Kechari witch, Putana. But Mother Yashoda, Krishna was holding on with both arms, both legs, and his mouth. And with one little push, she just took him, boom, put him down on the bed, and ran to save that milk who was about to enter into fire. This means that the devotee is seeing that the devotion to Krishna, the other devotee, takes a precedence over Krishna himself, because it is actually for Krishna's benefit and what is favorable for him. So she put Krishna down and he was upset and he was crying. So this seems like it's opposed or against bhakti, right? Because Krishna's not happy. He's not feeling pleased in the moment. Is it bhakti what she did? Yes, because her every intention was for Krishna's benefit, for his extended happiness and pleasure. She knew that from her own milk she couldn't make him rabri, rasamalai. She couldn't make him butter and so many sweets and shrikand and pera and burfi and all of these things. She couldn't make that for him with her own milk. But she wanted to give him so much happiness, so much pleasure, and also for his benefit. So, for his benefit, she put him down and ran to save the milk, which was going to enter into the fire. So Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, not only him, his Gurudev, our Guru Varga, they all give these two examples. The wrestlers in the arena of King Kamsa and Mother Yashoda putting Krishna down and running to save the milk. They give these two examples. On the one hand, Krishna is experiencing so much pleasure fighting with these demons. But because their mood was not favorable to him, they wanted to kill him, then it cannot be considered bhakti. And although Mother Yashoda put Krishna down and he was so upset, he was angry, that's when Krishna slid off of the bed, broke the pot that Mother Yashoda was churning full of yogurt. He was so upset. But because her mood was how to please him, how to serve him for his happiness, pleasure, and benefit, and favorable to him, even though it caused him some temporary discomfort, still it was for his happiness and pleasure, then what she was doing is considered bhakti. So bhakti is not necessarily dependent upon Krishna's feeling. Bhakti is dependent upon the mood of the bhakta, or the person approaching Krishna. If the person is approaching Krishna but has a mood unfavorable to him, then it cannot be considered bhakti. And if a person is approaching Krishna and has a mood which is favorable to him, even though it might cause him some temporary discomfort, still that can be considered bhakti. I will give a very practical explanation. I've told it many months before. When Srila Gurudev was manifesting his departure leela from this world, which was about a 3-month long period, we were in Govardhan. And at that time, Srila Gurudev, as you know, they had a tube going inside. And that's how he would receive his nutrients, his food and everything. So because of that, the doctors ordered us, you should never lie him flat. You should always keep his bed slightly inclined. Well, at a certain point, Gurudev was complaining. He wanted to be laid flat. So some of the devotees were like, well, Gurudev said it, so we have to lay him flat, because Gurudev ordered it. So I ran to the doctor, Sudevi ran to the doctor. We're like, no, the doctor ordered this, that he should not be laid flat. So we ran to the doctor and we asked him specifically, please explain to us why he should not be laid flat, because they're starting to lay him flat. And the doctor was like, no. And so he explained everything, that there can be some negative side effect which can create problems in his lungs if you lay him flat. And it can create a lung infection. So he drew everything for us. And then we ran and showed it to Pujapat Madhav Mahārāja, and we showed it to the other devotees. And then, although Gurudev wanted to lie flat, Madhav Mahārāja gave the executive order, don't lay him flat no matter what, even if he wants it. Now, he wanted it, but what was favorable for him? What was beneficial for him? That superseded his desire. Because of the affection of his devotees, they did not want to see him have a lung infection. So then we would not lay him flat, even though he was ordering it. So this is a practical example coming here. And why am I telling this? Because we're speaking about the verse Anyabhilashita Shunyam. Srila Gurudev said, first and foremost, we should apply this verse wholly and totally at the feet of Sri Guru. We must practice it first with Gurudev, then he will qualify that, purify it, and then engage that in the service of Krishna. So we were able to put it into practice directly with Sri Guru in this situation and so many other situations. And so there is something that supersedes, that is even more important than the immediate pleasure or the immediate happiness of the person that you are serving. And that is what is for their benefit. Like the Brajabasis told Nanda Baba, don't chastise Krishna. I think he might be Bhagavan. He lifted Govardhan Hill. He killed so many demons. Don't chastise him. Nanda Baba's like, what are you saying? He's my son. And if I don't do my fatherly duty and discipline him, then he may grow up to be a big dacoit gunda mafioso. I cannot have that happen. Then no one will love him. So then Nanda Baba is disciplining Krishna. He's teaching him and giving him discipline for Krishna's benefit, for his long-term benefit, for his happy life. And so this is out of affection. Any parent knows this. No, the child might just want candy and sweets and more candy and sweets and doesn't want to go to school and just wants to do whatever he wants. But the parent knows, I have to give some discipline for the benefit of this child out of love and affection. So we see that Mother Yashoda puts Krishna down, but Krishna, he's very upset. He's angry. But because her mood, her intention was favorable for Krishna's benefit, for his extended pleasure and extended happiness with all of those beautiful sweets that he would be receiving, then this is considered bhakti. And there, uttama bhakti. This is the mood of pure bhakti. So Srila Gurudev really wanted us to be able to understand it is not based upon Krishna's mood of the moment, but it is based upon the intention of the person approaching Krishna. That is the meaning of anukul. Anukul means what is favorable or favorable disposition toward Krishna. So this is an intrinsic part of the definition of pure bhakti. It must be favorable, or the mood must be favorable for Krishna. That is to say, one who acts in opposition to Sri Krishna cannot be performing bhakti. One who acts in opposition to Krishna cannot be performing bhakti. That sentence goes very deep. We'll discuss it later. Certain exalted, realized personalities have stated that anukulyena means the tendency to perform activities that bring pleasure to Sri Krishna, and that the inclination to please him with a favorable disposition, that is bhakti. The inclination to please him with a favorable disposition. So, if we apply this to ourselves, when we are chanting Hare Krishna, our Harinam, or even going out on Sankirtan, singing in the streets, or distributing books, or doing service in the temple, or honoring Mahaprasad, or cooking, whatever activity we're doing in bhakti, we can check our own pulse. What am I doing it for? Am I distributing books to compete with the next person and see who can distribute more books? How much glorification will come to me just to pump my pratishta? Or am I distributing the books so I can make money so that I can enjoy? Am I chanting Harinam to show off how much I'm chanting? Or am I not even concentrating just to get it done, a certain number, but not putting any heart in it? Am I doing it for Krishna's pleasure or not? Am I cooking for the pleasure of myself and my family, or am I cooking for the pleasure of Krishna? What am I doing? Am I doing Nagar Sankirtan? Am I singing in the streets to prove to everyone that, it's, whatever it is, some kind of mental thing. Look at me. Look at how I'm doing this. Or am I doing it for the pleasure of Krishna? There's so many different ways of looking at these things. If we really check our hearts in terms of the activities that we are doing on the path of bhakti, if it does not possess within that activity the tendency or the intent of actually pleasing Krishna, then it cannot be considered bhakti. It will be something like a shadow of bhakti, or it will be karma mishra bhakti. It is mixed with desire for some fruitive result. So karma mishra bhakti is not pure bhakti. What is the fruitive result? Oh, by this I will enjoy. By this activity I will receive so much money. I will receive adoration. If I do this activity and if I do it well, like there was one devotee many, many years ago. He came to the temple and he said, I will sing kirtan so beautifully that all of the young girls will fall in love with me. He spoke these words. And we were like, whoa, well, that's not the purpose for kirtan, is it? If that's the intention, that it is not kirtan at all. It is something else. It is lust. And it's using Krishna's name for that purpose.
It's taking the name of the Lord.
It is taking the name of the Lord in vain. For one's own vanity, for one's own sense gratification. Using the name of the Lord for any mundane purpose. Or kanaka, for pratishta, name, fame, prestige, power, and all kinds of things like that. Even mystic powers. All the other processes, jnana and karma, are also dependent upon the processes of bhakti. So using Krishna and Krishna's name, and then developing powers, mystic powers, and then using those powers for one's own gratification, to increase their prestige, their position, and to do all kinds of nonsense activities. This is also not really bhakti. It might look like it on the outside, but it is actually some form of cheating. So if we really check our hearts and check our pulses, we can tell, am I doing this for Krishna's pleasure? Like our Srila Gurudev, he said, I have never eaten anything. We were like, what? He said, I serve Mahaprasad. Mahaprasade Govinde. Mahaprasad is non-different from Krishna himself. I am doing seva. We call it prasada seva. Bhaktivedānta Thakur is saying, prasada seva korite hoya, sakala prapancha jai. Serving, doing seva to Mahaprasad, seeing it as non-different from Krishna. Is that how I'm approaching Mahaprasad? Or am I thinking Mahaprasad Govinde, woo, yum, samosas, burpees, puris, pakoras, laddu, rasagula, sandesh, sweet rice, lasagna, cake, and pizza, and whatever else that we love to eat. Am I going to it for my enjoyment, or am I going to Mahaprasad in a mood of deep respect with a mood to serve Krishna? This is the most difficult one, I think, for most. And our Gurudev said, I've never chanted anything. I serve Harinam Prabhu. Most of us, we chant Hare Krishna. We chant our rounds. And we do it because we're supposed to. There's a big difference between that and the pure devotee who's approaching Harinam Prabhu. Abhinatva naminamino. You are not different from Krishna himself. I'm entering into this very deep kunja space, this beautiful grove, and I'm serving Radha and Krishna. Hare Krishna. This is Radha Krishna's Jugal Milan. And then Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, there's separation mood. And in there, I'm serving Radha and Krishna. This is such a big difference. So if we're not doing kirtan, kirtan is also a process of bhakti. Shravanam, kirtanam, Vishnu smaranam, pada sevanam, archanam, vandanam, dasyam, sakyam, atmanivedanam. 9 processes of bhakti mentioned by Prahlad Maharaj to his father in Śrīmad Bhagavatam. 9 processes of bhakti. If you understand the definition of bhakti, and then you apply that to every process which is mentioned, if we're doing Shravanam, but not for the purpose of pleasing Krishna, exclusively for him, for his pleasure, for his happiness and his benefit, then it cannot really be considered bhakti or pure bhakti. It may be mixed. If we're doing kirtan with the mood of Nitai Gaur, look at me. Yes? No, time is coming short. Then is that kirtan really bhakti? No, it may be mixed. It doesn't mean we should not do it, but we should be aware of what bhakti is, and we should pray and be in the association of Vaishnavas. Anu means an anugatya, under the guidance of pure Vaishnavas, and by their association, as we are practicing the limbs of bhakti, bhajana kriya, then anartha nivritti happens. So as we're engaging in the processes of bhakti, doing the activities of bhakti, this is called bhajana kriya, then as a result of that, a natural side effect of doing bhajana kriya under the guidance of real sadhus, real Vaishnavas, pure devotees, gradually all anarthas begin to be weeded out from our heart. Prema bhakti jaha hoite, then avidya vinasha jate. Prema bhakti will begin to manifest, and by the manifestation of prema bhakti, first coming in the form of faith, shraddha, then conviction, nishta, then taste, ruchi. As it is growing inside of us, as an automatic effect of that, avidya vinasha jate. All ignorance, all avidya begins to become destroyed. That cleansing process takes place. Like Mahaprabhu says, bhava maha dabagni nirvapanam, cheto darpana marjanam, cleaning the mirror of the mind, of the heart, gradually through the process of taking shelter and serving the holy name of Krishna, who is non-different from Krishna. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. Through that process, then gradually all anarthas, all misgivings, all unfavorable and inauspicious things begin to become weeded out from our heart. And then what is left? Only our pure, transcendental nature of loving service to Krishna. So, at that, we will end today's discussion. Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. What mood should we have while offering Dandavat Pranam to Shri Guru? Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koroe Dase Trinapekayatihim. Coming very meek and very humble. I'm submitting myself to you. I don't know what's good or what's not. I have no strength on my own to do anything. Please give me your mercy. Your mercy is the essence of my everything. Without your mercy, like the milk, I have no reason to maintain my existence. Please accept me. Please keep me close to your lotus feet. Please don't neglect me. Or like Gurudev Kripa Karke Mujhko Apana Lena. They're my favorite, I won't say my favorite line, but the line which is saying, Mere nao bhavara dole, use par laga dena. That I'm caught, my boat is caught in a whirlpool and I see no way out. Then it says, Mere man mein samaye ho, mujhe prano se pyare ho. You are always on my mind and you are dear to me than my own life. Srila Gurudev said, I am closer to you than the air that you breathe. This is the meaning of Atma Bandhu, the dearmost friend of the Atma. So we can pray to Gurudev. Pray that he does not let go of us, right? There is at the very end, Nahinata Bhulana Mujhe. Please don't forget me. I'm all alone in this world. It's Jagame Akela or Akeli for ladies. It's Jagame Akela Hoon. I'm alone in this world. Means every other relationship which is mundane has no real bearing. But Shri Guru is the friend of the soul. Everything else is going to finish. But Guru, Janme, Janme, Prabhu say, he is my Lord. Birth after birth. So when we approach Gurudev, we should approach Gurudev with the moods that our acharyas have given us. And in this bhajan which our Srila Gurudev accepted personally, Gurudev Kripa Karake and Gurudev Kripa Bindudiya Ohe Vaishnav Thakur, all of these moods, these prayers that our acharyas have given us, they're teaching us how to pray, what kind of moods we should have, and we should try to enter deep into these moods if we want to receive that mercy. Agyana Timirandasya, oh Gurudev, when will you open my eyes? I am blind. Gurudev, please be merciful to me. So with this, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupāna Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Pratik Pavan Shri Nityananda ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachidandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vyodi Hari Ju ki jai, Radha Raju ki jai, Giraj Maharaj ki jai, Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Govinda Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Shri Vrindavan Bharan ki Jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam Gaurande
Hari Hari Bol.
So thank you, dear devotees, for being with us today, going to the home of Srila Gurudev, Sri Seva Kunja, Rup Sanatana, giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and so many sweet interactions with him. And luckily we met with Sudevi Didi,
That was
who
sweet.
has so much to share and so much conviction in his beautiful teachings and in his lotus feet. And so you just thank you so much. I would say thank us so much. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. And also we are indebted to all of you for giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Gurudev on a daily basis, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, we will start at 3 p.m. at Govardhan. But tomorrow, we will be here.
We're going to make a soundtrack tomorrow.
Yes. So, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada
Ki jai,
Radha Vino Bihari Ju
Ki jai,
Radha Sasashinandana Gaurahari
Ki jai. All Vaishnavas. Kishori Mohan needs to go to sleep. All Vaishnavas. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Sudevi needs to sleep also.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Radhe Radhe.